Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and today we have some very interesting news that I wanted to discuss with you guys and share because we might be witnessing something rather interesting. So I want to present you guys with this question. What does Jussie Smollett, Chris Cuomo, the Squad, and activists all have in common? They are, of course, divorced from reality. And we have seen this building and building, and of course we have talked about this for quite some time as to the continuation of the left trying to own the language, own definitions, changing language, and of course the whole identitarian, intersectionality, identification, gender, that entirety, of course, all derived and started way back in around 2013, 2014, when safe spaces and microaggression started. So the campaign of the left slowly began. And with Jussie Smollett, he is in probably the biggest amount of trouble he's ever experienced in his life. After Jussie Smollett spilled all the tea he could on Monday, Special Prosecutor Dan Webb put the focus back on the attack on the Empire Star, the actor allegedly staged in a brutal cross-examination on Tuesday. And it's important to point out here, Prosecutor Dan Webb put the focus on the attack on the Empire Star that the actor allegedly staged in a brutal cross. So what's happening? What this means in simple language, without going into the full depth of the article, is that reality has finally caught up to Jussie Smollett and many of these individuals on the left, to include, of course, Chris Cuomo. CNN President Jeff Zuckers told the network staffers on Tuesday morning that former host Chris Cuomo deserved termination and won't be paid any severance, according to reports. But, of course, Chris has been paid very handsomely doing his work, which is promoting and continuing the narrative of the left, which, of course, for many years was Orange Man bad. But as you can see, we're seeing a collapse of the left. We're seeing a collapse of mainstream media. Mainstream media is really the last institution that I can say of the left that hasn't been put under the microscope with levels of scrutiny, because what they do is they'll put their own people, their reporters and journalists and commentary and talking heads in front of them to go down for them instead of them themselves, because the establishment and the media is always going to be protected, as it is a basically a part of the Democratic Party. There's no denying it now. So anyone who wants to make wants to argue with me about media biased, not being biased, or the media not having agendas or narratives, there's no space for you any longer for you to continue this argument. And it's important that this gets exposed, because for 4 years, rational, cogent, common sense thinking people kept wondering what in the world is going on in this world where we have such an evasion of reality. We see here on Monday, sources told the New York Post that Chris Cuomo was preparing to sue CNN over the estimated $18 million to $20 million he's yet to receive under terms of a 4-year deal he signed last year. So that's not unusual or unexpected, but it is probably a continuation of these individuals thinking that by simply communicating things in words or having the opportunity to explain themselves away, that somehow they can just change reality, that for some reason people are either just going to come to their side and say, oh yeah, okay, I totally get it, you're legitimate, whatever you're saying is totally right, I should completely change my worldview, I should completely change my thoughts on reality because what you're having to say is correct, and it's not. And we see this very much with the Squad. And if you ever just look up any of these individuals, whether it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whether it's Ilhan Omar, whether it's Rashid Tlaib, if you look at what they've accomplished, it is minute. It is just very little. For example, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, in the entire time that she has been a senator or in the House, the only thing that she has accomplished is having some post office name changes. Now, another thing that people seem to have forgotten about, and I don't mention this as often as maybe I should, depending on people's level of interest and, of course, the AI, is that many of the activist groups are still active. They are still out there doing things, and they are becoming emboldened. Now, I don't know how much of it is them being emboldened or a sense of desperation because, again, with them trying to own the language, change definitions, change meanings, and watching individuals like Jussie Smollett, Chris Cuomo, and even people in the squad not really accomplishing what they want, and of course the popularity of Joe Biden tanking like crazy because he's really not in control. He's a surrogate. He's a puppet of the establishment who didn't want to be held back by President Trump another 4 years because they wanted to benefit. They were hurting while the country was actually benefiting. And we're seeing the levels of desperation reach to a level here where we see a Fox News Christmas tree set on fire in Midtown Manhattan, suspect identified. Now, I'm really kind of speculating here. I'm kind of almost doing a knee-jerk reaction, something very much the left would do. But suffice it to say, we know where the Christmas tree is. We know its location. And according to the WABC here out of New York, a large Christmas tree outside Fox Midtown headquarters was set ablaze early Wednesday by an arsonist who was quickly taken into custody. The 50-foot tree on 6th Avenue went up in flames just before 12:15 a.m., and heavy flames then spread to smaller decorated trees in the display. So the police have arrested a 49-year-old suspect who climbed up the metal structure and set it on fire. So obviously someone who was motivated with intent to set this on fire. And of course I am preempting this and I shouldn't be doing it because you guys know that I try to bring you as accurate of information as I can, take the complicated and the difficult and make it simple. So we're just going to go on the fact that probably this individual either had mental health issues if he's someone on the left, which is what they will defend. And then of course if he's just, I don't see a Trump supporter, as it were, or someone who is a conservative or on the right setting the Christmas tree on fire. I don't know. I'm just simply speculating and suggesting that we're seeing more desperation from the left, more desperate acts that are going on. And I want to point back to something that I mentioned very often, and this is kind of solidifying all this together, putting all this together. From Time Magazine and Molly Ball, The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election. And because of what we're seeing and because of what we're witnesses and because of what we talk about, in a way, Trump was right. So when this article came out just after the election, of course, President Trump was arguing that there was nefarious activity, because I can't mention the actual term with election interactions, as it were, and because we still get demonetized here on AOL, at least AOL. I always say AOL. I don't know why I do that on YouTube. I have no idea why I say AOL, guys. But here on YouTube, we are still getting demonetized if we say certain words in certain terms. But lately, we have not been. So that's probably because you guys are hitting the like button. You guys are commenting down below. You guys are engaging with the content, which is becoming more and more difficult here on YouTube. It is becoming very challenging for many. So when you watch some of your favorite creators, thank them, like their work, comment in their sections, because these guys are hanging in there despite the fact that we are getting very, very, very hit very hard. This is the Christmas time. This is usually when a lot of us make the most of our AdSense revenue, and it has been abysmal. So anyway, this is what it all culminates down to. Yes, President Trump was right. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protesters and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. The pact was formalized in a terse, little-noticed joint statement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and AFL-CIO published on Election Day. Both sides would come to see it as a sort of implicit bargain, inspired by the summer's massive, sometimes destructive, racial justice protest, in which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. That is it, quantified down. This is a 6,683 worded, just haughty football spiking on the part of the left, who have tried to reinvent language, redefine words under the auspice that everyone is just dumb and people don't understand, or people are so gullible they'll just go along with it. And here we are with Joe Biden as president. Taxes are higher, crisis at the border. We had a disastrous removal of our troops and Americans from Afghanistan, absolutely horrific if you really want to kind of put it in more context. And then now we have, of course, international problems with China, Russia, North Korea, and as of late, of course, Russia. And this is all because we have a surrogate president. The Russians know it. Our adversaries know it. And those people who claim to be allies, of course, reaching out their hands for friendship money. So as we can see here, people are finally, after all this time that we have talked about it here on the channel, this is why I suggest you guys share this content. We are finally seeing the left coming, or their comeuppance of the left, whether it's Jussie Smollett, whether it's Cuomo, whether it's the squad, you know, whether it's activist groups, all these individuals. We're finally seeing this all starting to come together. We're finally starting to see that reality can win. We're starting to see that what we have talked about all this time is starting to manifest and come true, that, you know, we weren't insane. We weren't the crazy ones. It was, in fact, a group of individuals trying to pretend and posture and create a new reality that we were supposed to accept. And we're already seeing it, too, as well as when it comes to the vaccine and the pandemic. It's really coming apart for Joe Biden, as here in the South, here in Georgia, another judge has come out to kind of shut down the mandate, which, of course, is not enforceable. But this is what I had for you guys today. I want to thank you guys for your continued support, the likes, the shares, and the comments. All of you guys on alternative tech, or what we now call new tech video sites like Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. I want to thank all of you guys for your support there. I'm getting some good growth there as well, and on my alternative site. So thanks to all of you guys there. And of course, my very dedicated and very valued fans and subscribers here on YouTube. I want to thank all you guys for your continued support. Appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon, so you guys who are watching this on YouTube can click on that to subscribe, along with notifications that we know when there's content here on the channel. I am continuing with the video shorts. Thanks for the support there, and I will see you guys in the next video.